There have been some bombshell evidence that has been dropped regarding this whole Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez case. Now, Tory Lanez is currently spending 10 years in prison because he was found guilty of shooting at Megan Thee Stallion. And his legal team has been working hard for him to get an appeal because they feel like there was some foul play in court. And they recently released a lot of evidence related to this case, and some of the evidence was actually suppressed. So even though it's not new, it wasn't shown during the trial. So it is some bombshell evidence now that is being presented to the public. And Tory's appeal is currently pending. So if they do update the evidence, it's going to cause a much greater delay. And after Tory got stabbed 14 times in prison, his team is like, nah, he got to get out of here. So there is a sense of urgency to get him out.
My question is, if any of that is true, if he if he wasn't the person that actually shot Megan Thee Stallion in the foot, how is Megan Thee Stallion and the person who shot her in the foot, how are they okay with him being behind bars for that long? Like, y'all don't have any type of sympathy? If he didn't do it, you don't feel bad for him at all? I just see Megan Thee Stallion always outside. Not in real life, I'm saying, like, or not in person. But I always see her smiling everywhere. Just on stage smiling. Everywhere at the Met Gala smiling. Smiling is just as happy as can be. Meanwhile, the dude who the person who shot you in the foot is still walking around, and the person who didn't shoot you in the foot is in jail. How are you okay with that, bruh?
We can get into some important facts here. For one, his DNA wasn't on the magazine of the gun, nor was it conclusively on the actual gun itself. So that kind of rules out the idea that he owned the gun and he shot it 5 times, because if he shot it 5 times, his DNA would conclusively be there. Not to mention, several witnesses claim that it was actually Kelsey who fired the gun, not Tory. Now, if you don't know, Kelsey, who was Megan's friend at the time, got into an argument and a whole...
And that's another thing I'm thinking. Why? Like, you would think if somebody shot you in the foot, wouldn't you want the person to get penalized who actually shot you in the foot? So if Megan Thee Stallion knows who shot her in the foot, why is she blaming on somebody that didn't shoot her in the foot? It's not like somebody just smacked you, like, you know what I'm saying? Somebody shot you in the foot, and you blame it on someone who didn't even shoot you. Allegedly.
Fight with Megan after she found out that Megan slept with Tory behind her back. And so they got into it, and that whole fight led to shots being fired. And the driver, Jaquan, said that he saw Kelsey with the gun. He said that in an affidavit. Also, Kelsey's bodyguard, Bradley James, actually said in an affidavit that he overheard Kelsey admitting to shooting the gun 3 times. She shot it in the air, and Tory tried to intervene by grabbing her hand, and it went off 2 more times. And on the body cam footage, he told the police that he was just trying to help his girl. He called Megan his girlfriend.
Nah, I don't know that. I was just trying to help my girlfriend.
So if he said he was trying to help his girl, it kind of shows that he tried to intervene to prevent Kelsey from hurting Megan. That's what it seems. Now, the important testimony was from the independent witness, Sean Kelly. Sean Kelly initially told the police and also told an investigator in another interview that he saw Megan and Kelsey fighting and he saw Kelsey shoot. Okay? Now, when he was on the stand, he was saying something different, and Tory Lanez's father feels like the prosecutors had something to do with his changed testimony. So it feels like there were some dirty games being played, but what he initially told the police is he saw the girl, Kelsey, shoot, not Tory. This evidence was very important, and I think this was a part of the evidence that was suppressed, but it definitely shows you that Megan and Kelsey were clearly lying. They lied about not fighting each other. They actually fought viciously. That's why they both got injuries. And Megan said that Tory was the one shooting. When
that has to be some type of crazy girl code that your homie, which is your friend that's a girl, can shoot you in the foot, and then y'all both lie on somebody else who didn't even shoot you in the first place. That's a crazy girl code. That just goes to show you, if this is an example of this, that just goes to show you how far women will go to lie for each other to not take accountability. And you see it every single day and stuff like that, but that's crazy. The person who actually shot you in the foot, you actually lied for her because of your girl code. That don't even make sense.
3 witnesses who claim otherwise.
I never put my hands on anybody. I never raised my voice too loud. Like, this was one of them times where it was like, it shouldn't have got this crazy. And all I hear is this man screaming, he said, dance. And he started shooting. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Yes, this nigga Tory shot me. You shot me.
You actually saw him holding
Yes.
Was anybody else
She don't look like she's telling the truth. She look like she's lying. She look like she's lying.
standing next to him, or how was his positioning with it?
Just her body language is like, it's like a certain type of body language people give off when they lying. You know what I'm saying?
Was anybody else standing next to him, or how was his positioning with it?
So it's the security guard driving, me and the passenger. Kelsey is behind me and Tory is behind the driver.
Okay.
So
Like, now that I know that she's, I don't know for a fact, but now that I believe that she's really lying, you could just look. She's showing classic examples of somebody who's lying. Like, she doesn't seem confident in what she's saying and how she's presenting the information.
like he had to get over her to even shoot at me.
So was he out of the vehicle, or is it from
So
inside?
you know how you can like stand out of the car, like you're
Yeah.
like standing over the door. That's how he was.
So like the door's open,
yes,
and then he would be standing in the threshold, kind of almost.
but like over the window.
Okay, but leaning over the window. So he's actually still.
To be lying like that, that's one thing about lies. She probably felt guilty for lying. I don't know if she even feels guilt, because she still be out here smiling and being just as happy. But one thing about a lie, and this is why I don't like lying, is that once you lie and everybody starts to believe you're lying, you can either say sorry and admit that you were lying, or you can keep up with the lie so that people don't criticize you for being a liar, and then that's when you lose your credibility once people realize you're lying. So people feel like they got to keep on lying. And it's like, she looked like she's either guilty, she feels guilty, or I don't know. She's not giving off confidence.
In the car.
In the car, but
Yeah.
kind of. Gotcha.
So when you hear Megan describe the incident, it doesn't really make sense, and it also doesn't line up with what the witnesses saw at all. She claims that she was on the passenger side and she got out of the car, and then Tory hopped over from the back seat of the driver's side to the passenger side and started shooting at her. Well, Jaquan, who was the driver, said he saw both Megan and Kelsey get out the car and start fighting. He had to break up the fight, and Kelsey took the gun out. So he saw Kelsey with the gun in her hand. Also, Sean Kelly said the same story. He said he saw the girls get out and they were fighting viciously. And then he said Kelsey looked like she was the one firing the gun. So Megan's story is just not adding up, and she didn't have anybody to corroborate her story either. Kelsey gave her own version of the events when she did that private interview with the prosecutors, and then she went on the stand, pled the fifth, and got her immunity, which is kind of something that a guilty person would do, I'm just saying. And then she said something different. She was acting like she didn't know what happened that night. So Kelsey wasn't a good witness to back up Megan's story. And
Kelsey wasn't a good witness because allegedly, or possibly, she was the person who was doing the shooting in the first place. It's a crazy situation.
also, Megan's bodyguard, Justin Edison, did not testify on her behalf. He didn't even show up to court.
But one key witness has been noticeably absent. Her former bodyguard, Justin Edison, missing days before he was set to testify. His father, Harold, speaking out overnight.
I want the DA and Meg Thee Stallion to leave my family alone.
Our hope is for peace for the Edison family and that Justin is safe.
So Justin being
Hey, homie, like, that dude, not homie, obviously, I don't know him, but that dude's like, he don't want nothing to do with none of that. He took that street code, that no snitching rule. He don't want to snitch at all. And I get it. He don't want nothing to do with the situation. It ain't his business. he just want to live life, keep doing his personal training or his bodyguard and stuff. You know, why they got matching shirts? Were they dating? Look at that.
No.
They got matching shirts on. Yo, hold on. Maybe that's why he don't want to tell on her, because he probably had a love relationship with her. He's trying to protect her. Why they got bro? That's your bodyguard. Why y'all got matching shirts on? That's some couple stuff.
Another important witness who received that text from Kelsey saying, "Help, Tory shot Meg," did not show up and confirm the text message. And he wasn't missing. He just was doing another job somewhere else. So clearly he didn't want to be there. It's just weird that Megan had nobody to back up her story. In fact, Justin's family was asking Megan and the DA to leave them alone. So it seems like they really didn't want anything to do with Megan at all. Now,
why's your dad speaking up for you? Why don't you just speak up for yourself? You a big, strong man. I don't get it. Big, strong man got everybody else speaking up for you. That don't make sense. Maybe some legal stuff I don't know nothing about. I don't know.
Witnesses have alleged that Kelsey was the one who fired the gun. But there are questions being asked. Was Megan assaulted with the firearm, or was she injured by glass? Now, I think two things can be true. She glass too. She said she was injured by glass. The police said it. One of the doctors who examined her said she was injured by glass, and another doctor said that her wounds were superficial with no fractures, which some might say, well, if she wasn't fractured or didn't have any deep wounds, how can she be shot? Well, another doctor named Dr. Milton Little said that she had bilateral gunshot wounds, and also he removed 3 fragments from her foot, and he gave the fragments to the police. But the weird thing about this is the fragments went missing. At least that's what the detective Ryan Stogner stated. He was asked, now the bullet fragments which were allegedly removed from Megan's ankles, they can't be located, correct? He said, correct. I find that to be very, very odd, honestly. It's also odd that none of the doctors were called to testify.
Hey man, them rich celebrities, bro, they be on a whole nother level as far as like how they handle stuff like that, bro. It be too much money on the line. They got labels. You got big companies and things like that. Like, bro, that Hollywood stuff is, man. The people who go that route and become super famous and everything, going the Hollywood route, it's just like, it's so much evidence that shows it's just not worth it. It's just crazy, bro. Like, that's like, how do they remove the fragments of the gunshot particle or bullet particles before? What?
In court. But here are some of the clips that claim that Megan was injured by glass.
Oh wow.
Okay, come on, people got to hear with them. Hands up, hands up.
She got right on that glass. Ah!
Alright, move back to the sound of my voice.
Ah!
Move back to the sound of my voice.
Move back.
Oh, she cut herself.
She cut herself when she stepped out. She cut herself when she stepped out.
It happened, so that's all we have so far.
So nothing happened in the vehicle.
No, we don't have any casings. No.
Okay, from what you've been told, do we know how she got cut?
I believe when she stepped down, there's a glass.
She dropped a glass bottle, and then I think she stepped on it and cut herself, getting out of the vehicle.
Okay.
What's that? Do you think we can go to jail? I don't know. We're trying to figure it all out.
We'll not go to jail.
Okay.
I cannot have that on my image.
Okay.
Ah, you hear that?
I didn't get.
You hear that? Image. So all this lying that she's allegedly doing, things like that, and it's common sense. We know that. But to hear her actually say it out her mouth, she will do it. What it sounds like is she will do anything to protect her image, even if she has to lie and conjure up some type of story, come up with some type of story with a best friend who probably allegedly shot her against Tory Lanez because it protects her image. It doesn't make her seem like she's the one that was out of control, fighting her friend. She was the one that was getting cheated on, and because she lied and said she never even slept with Tory Lanez, and Tory Lanez, obviously early, he said that was his girlfriend. Then later on came out, like recently, maybe a month or two ago, she admitted, Megan Stallion admitted that she did sleep with Tory Lanez, I think a few times. So, image. It's all. Look at what people will do. How far people will go for stuff like that to protect their image. Like that is crazy.
Oh, you did it? I mean, no fuss. So how did that happen to you? Glass? Where?
Where we were coming from, we were just my phone stepping on the left. I didn't really cut on my right foot. I just stepped on glass the other day.
Oh, wow. 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 This is why it's just good to just tell the truth, bro. I'm not gonna lie, bro.
Now, Megan did say she initially lied about what happened because she didn't want to get in trouble with the police.
Soon as the police tell us all get out the motherfucking car, the police is really aggressive. You think I'm about to tell the police that we, us black people, got a gun in the car? You want me to tell the laws that we got a gun in the car so they can shoot all of us up? I'm thinking the doctors is the police, so I'm still trying not to tell them.
Not go to jail. Okay.
I cannot have that on my image.
Okay.
Yeah, she didn't have to say that though. She didn't have to say that. Like that just shows what she was really feeling and really thinking. I think she was confiding in him. Later on, obviously, she's gonna, talk all confident and stuff like that when she's on live stream. But I think she was telling the truth right there.
Now, I can understand Megan not really saying what happened because being stopped by the police is a scary situation. It is. And also, she didn't want to go to jail. And she did say she is concerned about her image. That makes sense too. Now, Tory's legal team put together a whole website called 36hourslater.com. Y'all could go there and look through it if you want to. There was some suppressed evidence that wasn't presented in court that could have vindicated Tory. I mean, it's clear to me that Tory did not get a fair trial at all. But even still, a lot of people won't.
And the question is why? Why didn't he get a fair trial? Like, what's the reason for suppressing that type of information and, suppressing that type of, what's the reason for that? Why? And how do they get away with it? That doesn't make sense.
Believe Tory just because they made up their mind not to. So I think at this point we have to see the footage. And I will say this, if there is footage and if the footage shows that Tory is innocent, then a lot of people are going to be in trouble. Not just Megan and Kelsey, but the DA, the prosecutors, the LAPD, all the media companies who are running a smear campaign against Tory. And also Rock Nation's owners, Jay-Z and Desiree Perez. They are going to be in trouble. And there will be investigations and there will be some lawsuits. It's going to be a mess.
If Tory Lanez didn't do that, then I hope he gets out of jail very soon. Especially with the fact that regarding the fact that he was stabbed up like 14 times more recently. So I hope he gets out of jail. I hope he gets a retrial, and I hope that they really I hope he gets a retrial, and we gotta see what really happened. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.